Well, you know, if it's Friday, it's time for the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. It is time for the financial part of the Consumer Advice Series. I'm Steve Casillo, your host. Appreciate you being here today. And so you are either watching live on Facebook, you are watching the video on YouTube or LinkedIn, you are listening to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. In any event, we appreciate you being here today. And as always, just over my left shoulder, right here in the studio, is Phillip Washington Jr. wearing his Juneteenth t-shirt. Welcome to the Consumer Advice Series.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Absolutely. And you know that if the listener or the viewer, are watching or listening on the day that it's released, today is Friday the 17th. This coming Sunday is Juneteenth. And I actually, Phillip, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is a big Juneteenth celebration here in Mansfield tomorrow, Saturday the 18th.
Yeah, we'll be in Houston at a family reunion, so we're going to miss it. But, yeah, that's exciting to hear.
At the Mansfield Center for the Performing Arts, and it's Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and go out and celebrate the last day of slavery here in Texas. That'd be
Awesome.
Juneteenth. But we're not here to talk about Juneteenth, and just acknowledging your T-shirt there.
Hey, appreciate that. But it's kind of, understanding finances is kind of like Juneteenth. It's freeing people from the slavery of a poverty mindset.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah,
That makes sense.
similar.
Today we're talking about there's a lot of noise in investing. You come up with some great titles, and in this case, this is one of those great titles that I need you to explain. So there's a lot of noise in investing.
Yeah, so the beautiful part of the internet is anybody can get their voice out and let people hear it. The downside of the internet is anybody can get their voice out.
Yeah, pointing TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, the three big drivers of noise on the internet are news organizations, people seeking significance, and then people trying to take advantage of other people. And so, in news, like, I don't think anybody in the media specifically are bad. It's just the system that's set up is not the best system for getting, like, information, because you want to understand the economics. The economics of the news is to get advertisers, right? And I'm talking about big news owned by corporations that are publicly traded, because they have to produce profits for shareholders every quarter, for the people who run it to get paid. And so, what everybody knows, the deepest and darkest parts of the human soul, if you appeal to that, you can get a lot of attention, right? So that's like fear, that's greed, all that kind of stuff. And so what is the news going to do? Well, whatever the public is fearful about.
Oh. Exploit it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For profit, right?
For profit.
For profit. And
if it bleeds, it leads. Let's chase an ambulance. And
exactly. Yeah. And so that's a big one. And then the other one, like I said, we talked before about, people want to talk about owning stocks and trading more than actually, like, making money, right? They want to, so people seeking significance, they might share bad advice to their friends, right? And the other one is just scams, right? People with a poverty mindset preying on people with a poverty mindset, meaning some people think that they have to steal from others to make money, and so they create BS to get people to buy it, to take their money. And the people that are buying it are people that are seeking a magic lotto ticket. And so they're easy prey. Poverty mindset, preying on poverty mindset.
And how does this all play into the investing? And so there's the noise, and let's funnel that into to the average investor.
Yeah. So in order for the average investor to cut through the noise, you want to understand focus on two things. Focus on reimagining the future, and then focus on managing risk. And if you do those two things well, you're going to be a phenomenal investor. And what I say about reimagining the future is one thing about life, right? Thompson's principle of life is it's fluid. Life is not stagnant. Life is always changing, right? There's winter, summer, spring, and fall, right? A natural, birth and death, right? And this is like in the everywhere in the physical world, but even us, right? Think about like the way that we think today versus the way that we thought 20 years ago, right? We had to have a death of those old ideas that were holding us back in order to have new ideas and attract new things that are healthy and good for us. And so same rules apply in the investing world. And so if you can, the world changes. So an example would be people who want to hold on to bonds and cash because, that was the way that allows them to look in their bank account and see the same amount of money without seeing any changes in it, right? It's like having a stagnant mindset that is frozen in the past versus saying, okay, yeah, I look at the 20-year-olds and the teenagers, and they have no problem owning digital assets. Everything they do is on the internet. They love video games. My 11-year-old doesn't call cars cars. They call cars Teslas. Everything is an iPhone. You know what I mean? And so, like, you don't have to be a genius to know that. Oh, okay. So maybe I should embrace digital assets and Teslas and iPhones because, like, my 11-year-old one day be 31, right? Yeah. And have money in his pocket. And what is he going to want to buy? He's not going to want to he's going to be like, wait a minute. You guys used to like have like paper money. Yeah, you know what I mean? And he'll be aware of it because they have paper money, but you know what I mean? Like it's the resistance for them to own digital assets, there's no resistance. Like that's just normal in their world. And so, that's one help to reimagine the future, right? And then there's managing risk, which I can go into that if you want to, but I want to give you time to interject.
Well, I wanted to lead you into a story that I was listening to your podcast, Wealth Building Made Simple, just before we came on this episode, and you told a story about using inertia to your advantage, and which I would assume is what the younger, you mentioned your 11-year-old, your 11-year-old is going to use that to his advantage because he's young. Well, hell, you're still young too, so
it's all relative, right? Because you're still young, right?
Young at heart. I'll be around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, this generation is going to live to like 150. I'm calling it.
Yeah. Explain what that meant, using inertia to your advantage.
Yeah, so inertia is like the natural state of things in the universe is it wants to stay in the current state that it's in, and so. I use the analogy of a car. If you've ever, for whatever reason, and if you haven't done it, I don't wish it for you, but if you've ever had a car stop and you had to push it, right? Yeah, in the beginning it's hard, right? Because the car's like stopped. But then as you get it rolling, it gets easier and easier to push as it's moving. And so the same is true in life, in every aspect of life, and definitely in investing. So, so right now, there's lots of technologies that clearly make life easier. I'll use Zoom for an example. Like anybody who's used Zoom say, wow, this is pretty amazing. Like my family every Sunday are able to do like Zoom prayers, with the elders praying for the family, or we can do Zoom birthdays because everybody's around. So it allows you to connect better with people around the world. People that were using it during the pandemic for work, they were able to maintain their operations and thrive using Zoom and realize they didn't need as much office space, right? But what you have inertia is, you have 2 years of the world being forced to use Zoom, which it's been out for a while. I've been using it for a while too, but right now people are saying the people that run the corporations are like, but I want to see you, right? So the inertia right now for Zoom penetrating the world is like in the early stage of pushing the car. But the cat's out of the bag. Like Zoom is a better way to work, live, and communicate. And that people are going to keep pushing on the car, right? The 30 and 40-year-olds who are hired, who are the best and the brightest in corporations want, try to get them back into the office if you want to, and they're a knowledge worker. And that's not happening. They're going to leave and go find somebody who will.
Oh, yeah.
And so as inertia, and then you take our kids and what they want to do, right? It's all knowledge worker based. They're not going into an office, right? And so as inertia pushes on the world, right, companies like Zoom are going to compound, gain more traction, build and build. And that's a clear, easy way to kind of think about the future and where things are going. Like inertia is going to be in Zoom's favor. And if you have your cash in the metaphorical car, you know, early on, before it takes off fast, you get to participate in a lot of the upside.
If any of the listeners, viewers out there wanted to call you and have you help them push their car, or
I like that.
metaphorically, financially,
or in real life, yeah.
Okay.
I hope push. Yeah, hit me up.
How can they reach out to Phillip Washington Jr.?
StonehillWealthManagement.com is the best way. I have my podcast links on there, links to book a time with me if you're interested. Email address. I would love to talk to you.
Phillip Washington Jr., always a pleasure. Let's have you back again next week. Let's do it again.
Thanks for having me, Steve.